Some say it's just a game. But for those special players with a vision and daring to create their own distinctive style of expression, it's not just about playing. For them, basketball is the art of capturing the imagination. From these humble beginnings, a legendary group of NBA showmen would arise. In the early days, players such as Bob Davies provided flashes of what was to come. That was then. This is now.
Harper will go all the way against Weston Jones.
NBA Entertainment presents the men who astound, the men who dazzle, the men who amaze. The Showmen, spectacular guards of the NBA.
T-minus 23 seconds and counting.
Go ahead, CCC.
Yeah, be advised that sequence 16, step 592 complete.
T-minus 15, 14. We have a go for main engine start. 2, 1. 0.
Playing to rave reviews, they are two of today's most death-defying aerial acts.
Look out! Harper drag slam. Harper took it coast to coast to the final 4 seconds.
Ron Harper and Clyde Drexler combine power and grace to embody the state-of-the-art in athletic performance. The results are often spectacular.
Here comes Clyde. Harper against Duckworth. Drexler running room to the basket. Stand up. Drexler. Good. Here comes Harper against McKesky. Oh! I'll give him 9.6. The Blazer lead, up to 1. Drexler. He's baseline against Pierce. Took it to the hoop last time. Does it again. In underneath with a runner off the glass. And Drexler away from Eddie Johnson. All the way. Jam by Drexler. He's used up his dribble. Brings it out to Harper. He flies to the goal. Throws up a prayer and spins it home. Quite a play by Ron Harper. 40. Drexler. 4 seconds. Here comes Harper flying down the floor, drives to the basket, slams. Has Drexler deep. Oh no! Incredible play.
As a Houston Cougar, Drexler dunked with style, but NBA experts feared his game lacked substance.
When I got here, they knew you from dunking from college. That doesn't mean that you can't play the game. And that's a stereotype that you just got to break. And the only way you can break it is by proving them wrong.
Showcasing his varied skills, Drexler quickly did just that.
35-footer, and Portland leads by 3.
Although perennially among the league leaders in steals, his wizardry on defense is often overshadowed by his more flamboyant offensive exploits. Before Ron Harper took over the airways in Cleveland, he had to endure the hardships of growing up with a speech impediment.
Growing up as a kid, I was a very quiet kid. I didn't talk too much because I had a speech problem. So when people made fun of me, then we stepped on the basketball court, I made them look bad, so I got a lot of respect that way.
And even after being traded to the LA Clippers, Harper continues to showcase his fluid form of expression, both on and off the court.
Harper around a pick, Harper in deep, but that's what he likes to do, go all the way and score.
And throughout their careers, these two performers have met at the annual Slam Dunk Contest to happily astound the crowd. And each other.
Going out and enjoy yourself, because I just love doing the things I do best, and that's playing basketball and enjoying the people I'll be around.
Two entertainers who love their work. Showmen in the classic NBA tradition.
Well, the game is fun. The guys from the past have really created all of this. We're just following in their glory. And they made the game what it is today. We're just happy to be a part of it.
The forefather of basketball showmen made his debut as the post-war era was in full swing. It was a time for big bands and prosperity. The National Basketball Association was in its infancy, and an electrifying young man by the name of Bob Cousy was about to embark on a show-stopping tour of league arenas that would span 13 spectacular seasons. But this storybook career was almost never written. It began at Holy Cross, where Cousy led the Crusaders to an NCAA title, and soon after was selected in the first round of the NBA draft. With his rights held by Iowa and then Chicago, Bob stayed in Massachusetts, running a string of gas stations. But Chicago folded, and Cousy went into the dispersal draft.
I was pumping gas in Worcester while all this was going on, not worried too much about it, one way or the other. Finally, somebody called me up and said, "Hey, Waller Brown picked your name out of the hat." So I drove 40 miles down to Boston, signed a contract with Waller, and played the only place, really, that I would have played.
Bob Cousy had found a home with the Boston Celtics, and quickly the rookie point guard went about adding a new dimension of flair to the young league. And with each improbable play, it became clear that the court would be his stage. The sports world's newest magician tantalized opponents with his dazzling ball handling. His unconventional style stunned traditionalists, but you can't argue with success.
Well, Cousy and I had an understanding. I didn't care how he threw the ball, as long as somebody caught it.
Boston's charismatic floor leader would run the show his way, playing to packed houses in every city. He was hailed as the Houdini of the hardwood, but Cousy's magic act was no illusion. His uncanny court sense and precision passing made him an unequaled playmaker.
Cousy would really hit the open man, and when you got the ball, you were just in the position where you could take the shot. You never got the ball before you got to your position. Cousy would not give it to you.
The late 50s, Wilt Chamberlain was high-jumping his way to national prominence, while the nation's idol Elvis Presley was off to the war. The good news for Celtic fans, coveted center Bill Russell was acquired by Boston. The decade was ending, but Cousy and the new-look Celtics' unprecedented streak of consecutive championships was just beginning, as they recorded the first final sweep in NBA history. The second consecutive title came against St. Louis, with the Celtics field general helping to avenge their 1958 finals loss to the Hawks. As the '61 season began, the Celtics were becoming the hottest ticket in town, and Bob Cousy was once again the main attraction, as Boston dominated the opposition en route to their third consecutive title. In the quest for number 4, Boston's entertainer was at his Showtime best, sealing a Game 7 overtime victory versus the Lakers. He thrilled the basketball world with his dramatic game-ending dribbling display. The 1963 season was Cousy's last, but it ended in familiar fashion as the Celtics embraced their 5th consecutive title. A landmark career had ended, and a legacy had been born. Bob Cousy, basketball's pioneer showstopper, had revolutionized the game, inspiring fantasies for basketball fans across the nation, and laying the foundation for one young man to take basketball showmanship to yet another level. He was called the boy with the sad eyes. But even in his college days at LSU, Pete Maravich brought an irrepressible joy to the basketball court that belied his melancholy appearance. Slight of build, He didn't look the part of a star athlete, but with a basketball in his hand, he was simply breathtaking to watch. Endlessly honing his basketball skills, Pistol Pete, as he was called, was an unparalleled ball handler and an unstoppable scorer. Under the tutelage of his father and college coach, Press Maravich, Pete also became a master playmaker.
I used to talk to him about conceptualizing in basketball. And he used to ask me, what do you mean by that? I said, you have to think 1, 2, maybe 3 patterns ahead of time what's going to happen.
Neither could have foreseen what was to happen on the night of January 31st, 1970. Pete would shatter Oscar Robertson's all-time NCAA scoring record. Averaging an incredible 44 points per game, he would go on to set a career mark that still stands today. Drafted by Atlanta, Pete took his trademark floppy socks and famed scoring touch to the NBA. But even in his first year, he was never a bashful rookie.
I was labeled very young as a showman. I drove down my bag between my legs to throw different type of unique passes and things of this nature. I would describe myself as a player that loved to run, was able to handle a fast break as well as anybody.
And what he did better than anybody else was delight the fans, creating miracles for them to marvel at.
I believe people, especially myself, recognized the opportunity that we had to not only go out and play a game and win and so forth, but to try to bring fans back. You have to do something other than just put the ball in the hoop.
Traded to the expansion New Orleans Jazz, he was all alone on center stage, a position in which he was very much at home.
I was more of a scorer because I could handle the ball so well that it was really guard me in a one-on-one situation.
For Pete, a fancy pass was more than just another way to get the ball to a teammate. It was entertainment. His ability to play, limited by injury, Pete retired after a short tenure with the Celtics. But the feeling of wonder that he inspired will never be forgotten.
I would like to be remembered as a person that played the game with great intensity and love for the game, but also played it for one standpoint, to entertain the fans.
And in their memories, the boy with the sad eyes will live forever. From the backyards of the bayou to the asphalt of the inner city, the playground is basketball's field of dreams. And for some, like Earl Monroe, it is a place where visions become reality.
Sitting down on the sidelines while they were playing in the playgrounds and, with holes in my sneakers and waiting for a chance that maybe these guys will let me play. All of a sudden, they'll look around and they'll look and say, oh, come on, Earl, you can play.
And man, did he play. His style was pure shake and bake, and every performance sparkled with the vibrancy of the city game. But could the show go on in the NBA?
When I first got into the league, my game was so chastised because it said I was a one-on-one ball player, I was a schoolyard ball player, this and that and that and this. But then, because I could think the game and I knew, something about the game itself, I realized that it was something a little bit special.
When you had Earl Monroe on the team, doing some of the things that he could do with a basketball, it was fun to sit there and watch it. I used to kick it out and just lay back and just see what they were going to do.
And Monroe never disappointed.
After a while, I got to know my audience, and I became, more than just a basketball player, I became a performer. And by knowing your audience, you know what you can do to excite your audience. That's how, the so-called pearl became evident. A lot of the things that I felt as though I was going to do it in my career, I didn't do because of the fact I came to New York.
The pearls shine brightly as a bullet, and his luster did not fade as a Knick. Any notions that Monroe was strictly a one-on-one player were quickly put to rest in New York. Easily adjusting to the Knick team philosophy, this former adversary was now a crucial addition.
Earl Monroe once caused me nightmares because when he was with Baltimore, he was such a devastating player to guard and such a showman that, you know, he's the type of guy you didn't want to score on you because he made you look bad.
Monroe was a magician, you know. He knew how to get to where he had to go. They thought he was just another flamboyant guy that shoots all the time and, you know, does all these fancy things, but that was not Earl. Earl was a very, very intelligent basketball player. Could make the plays, pass the ball, and another guy that was desperate to win a championship.
In 1973, in his first full season with New York, Monroe helped the Knicks drive past the Bullets and the Celtics and back into the finals. Earl's hunger for a championship was finally satisfied. And with his reputation as a winner assured, he was ready to take his rightful place in NBA history.
Eventually, my game became accepted, and now people look back and see it as maybe the inception of the new game.
Bringing flash into fashion, the Pearl left an indelible mark on the floors of the NBA and the blacktop of the playgrounds.
It's kind of strange because and younger kids might not know me as such, you know, but I hear them say, he's pearling.
Nate "Tiny" Archibald, another playground prodigy, would also electrify the league with schoolyard showmanship.
I had a lot of doubts because of my size. Back then, they had Earl Monroe was in the league. He was 6'3", 6'4". I was about 6 feet when I came out, and I would say I weighed about 150, and those guys was twice as big as me.
Finding ways to use his height to his advantage, Tiny dismantled defenses with stunning regularity. The only man in NBA history to lead the league in points and assists in the same season, Tiny is remembered less for his place in the record book than for his fervent passion for the game.
I always enjoyed playing basketball. I had a devotion for it, and I felt that this is one of the games that I really truly wanted to learn, and I wanted to learn it while I was young. I felt that at that particular time, I didn't really know how good I was going to be.
More than just good, this seemingly invulnerable dynamo thrived in a bruising game of bigger men.
I thought my body was just indestructible. I mean, I can go out there and run, penetrate, go into different things, and, you know, I get scarred or I might bleed and stuff like that, but I'm going to keep playing. It's like, you know, all you have to do is oil me up, and I'm out there doing my thing.
Joining the Celtics, Tiny hoped to attain what had eluded him as a king, a championship ring.
From Texas, El Paso, 6'1", number 7, Nate Archibald.
Nate fit nicely into Celtic green. As their new point guard, he helped rejuvenate Boston's proud tradition. Appointed team captain, Tiny spearheaded a memorable 1981 championship campaign, one that culminated in a finals victory over the Houston Rockets. The NBA's smallest showman had vividly proven that talent isn't measured by feet and inches. These days, another 6-foot legend, Isaiah Thomas, showcases his unique feel for the game.
Basketball to me is a freedom. When I walk in between those 4 lines on the basketball court, nothing comes into my mind but basketball.
He plays to create, and no NBA defense can confine his graceful form of self-expression.
It's just incredible freedom that I have. It's almost as a bird flying.
When Isaiah takes flight, his imagination takes shape and seems to know no boundaries. is only part of his artistic repertoire.
I would say the most satisfaction I get out of making a good pass is a score at the end of the pass. Just the idea of fooling somebody, tricking somebody, or say, I caught you, boom. It just gives me a thrill. You know, I get a great sense of enjoyment out of it.
A feeling he is quick to share.
Dale Ellis quickly turns it around, rebound by McHale. It's a 24-point game. Great pass to Jordan. That was a highlight. Oh,
it's like a magician, like a magician does a trick and fooled you.
Isaiah breaks up to the lane, falls, but keeps the dribble twice. Now comes back toward the lane. Last and he's fouled. Holy cow.
5 seconds, plenty of time to get a shot. 3 seconds, plenty of time.
Ball handling, his spellbinding forte. And he is at his scintillating finest when it counts the most.
You're looking at one of the most spectacular players in the game, a person who has abilities that surface during the year, but at crucial times he reaches another level of performance.
Here's Isaiah. Let's see what we got. All the way up. Go!
There have been many celebrations for Isaiah, one of basketball's most heralded primetime acts.
He loves to compete. He loves the big-time, showtime atmosphere, and he's usually at his best. He'll probably do something very unique tonight.
The Pistons are not the only ones to appreciate his immense value.
When my first played here, I wish that I could play with him. It would make my life a whole lot easier. With him running up the court, dishing off passes, going to the bucket. I mean, he's the point guard. If you want to say point guard to play with, he's one of the top guys.
For passionate performer Isaiah Thomas, the joy of winning his first championship is surpassed only by his love for his craft.
I don't think I'll ever be able to find anything that gives me the sense of enjoyment, the sense of pleasure that I get out of basketball.
Home in Southern California, where beauty is often taken for granted, and every street corner seemingly has a star waiting just beyond it. The Forum is his theater, and in a city of celebrities, the stars flock here to enter his enchanted world. Filling the arena nightly, they anxiously await his every move. Like few players before him, Irvin Johnson has come to define basketball showmanship for his era. The offense he directs is called Showtime, and he is known simply as Magic. No mirrors needed. His sleight of hand is pure wizardry.
Scott lost it. Here comes Magic to pick it up. Magic in deep. Trying to go deep. Can't. Now he does on Perkins. Shows up a prayer. Banks in and he's fouled. Magic right side to Worthy. Slams up. Break the court back to Magic. Backhand will stop. That's Showtime, folks. He doesn't have anybody open. Here comes Magic. He's got it. He throws it on the way to three.
With Magic, even seeing isn't always believing.
Out on the court, I can express myself. So it's like you come down this way, dunk.
Matthews, beautiful basketball.
Some 360, hoopsie-doo, finger roll. Then you come back, the sky hook.
Magic against Humphries, back in the middle, down the middle, a hook shot of 5 in the way.
Yeah, you come back to fancy pass.
They're both back by Tuesday when they'll call it.
So you just going back. So it's like a tennis match. And if you go down and reach for the, you might miss something.
Magic pass. Oh, and into Worthy. Slam dunk.
If you did miss something, sit back and watch.
Wow.
Brings it up for the drive. Against Sellers. Down the lane to the hoop. Lays it in. Draws the foul.
Wow.
Like all great performers, Magic usually saves his best for last.
Wow.
Away. They'll talk about it the rest of your life. Magic fires for three. Got it at the buzzer. Magic hit a three-pointer. The Lakers win. Save to Green. Impressive play by Byron Scott. Magic has eyes everywhere and finds Worthy. Now here's Magic down the middle. Magic. Look past the Worthy. Make it to Rambis who scores. Oh, the Notre Dame shot is an air ball taken by Magic. He throws to the other end. It went in. It went in. Ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Magic's just a great basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen, you know. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say.
When talking about Magic, whatever is said is always in the superlative.
Magic Johnson, one of the best, if not the very best player to ever play the game. Outstanding player, an even better person.
He mesmerizes even those who don't pay the price of admission.
Magic Johnson would definitely be the best point guard to ever play the game. He's something to watch, you know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of players in the league I would pay, to pay to watch.
If he came on once a week like the Cosby Show, I'd sit there and watch.
He's always got the smile going. He's always getting the crowd excited and forcing everybody to play well.
Owner of 5 championship rings, the decade's greatest showman may also be its toughest competitor.
I want to be the best. I want to win. And that's why I play, because I want to win. Not just to be playing, not just to make a lot of money. I want to win.
Very afraid. For what lurks is the high-tech wave of the future, known as Michael Jordan.
Bulls need to string some hoops together. Jordan all the way to the hole. Right over, right down, and through the foul.
Is he of this earth?
Jordan to the baseline.
Is he man or machine? But make no mistake, he is no apparition. Stating force that must always be reckoned with.
I just know, anytime Chicago comes in town, you have to leave your family and everybody else home. You don't want to be embarrassed.
Jordan gets in.
I remember an alley-oop went up in the air on the fast break, and I just knew I was going to get the ball. And all of a sudden, Jordan went up about 10 or 12 more notches than I did. It's something that I'll never forget, but definitely enjoy to watch. And when you're playing against him, you're not ashamed to say you stand there in awe.
Steals, he cuts it in bounds. Here it is again.
The guy literally is embarrassing the league. He's that good. He's a phenomenal player. There isn't anything he can't do.
Oh, you find yourself watching sometime because, you know he's going to do something, that you might not see again.
Yet time and again, he astounds.
How does he do that? How does he do that? How does he know?
Michael Jordan is 1 in a million player. They don't come along very often.
Grant out. To Jordan. Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win it! They win it! Set the Cleveland
Jordan
Cavaliers.
has a dramatic way of seizing the moment. And for one spring afternoon in the 1986 playoffs, he took over the Boston Garden as the burning flame of Celtic pride was overwhelmed by the non-stop pyrotechnics of one man.
When I'm on my game, and I'm really on like I was in Boston, I don't think it's too many people that can stop me. I don't think it's anybody can stop me. And once I got off to a good start, I just felt like I couldn't stop. I could run for days. I just wish that the game didn't have to stop. We could play on and on. We'd probably still be playing now the way I felt.
Jordan's offensive onslaught was relentless, and the Boston faithful feared the worst, as nobody seemed able to prevent the inevitable.
If I get the ball, you're at mercy of whatever I want to do, and there's nothing that you can say or do about it if I'm on my game.
Jordan surged with confidence, and consumed by this feeling, he was indomitable.
The feeling is like you own the ball, you own the game, you own the guy who's guarding you. You can actually play him like a puppet.
The game raged into 2 grueling overtimes as Jordan single-handedly shouldered the burden for Chicago. Amassing a record-breaking 63 points, Michael put on a virtuoso performance that captured the imagination of the basketball world.
Michael on the drive across the lane. Turnaround shot. Got it. 63 for Jordan. A new NBA record has been set in the Boston Garden.
It is memories such as these that inspire Michael Jordan to reach new heights. They are the blueprints of basketball perfection. An unreachable dream that somehow seems almost within his grasp. Defying gravity and logic, Jordan himself seems as if out of a dream. Blurring the line between fantasy and reality. Fans, he is a natural wonder to behold. A constant source of amazement. The latest, greatest show on earth. The newest standard bearer in the NBA's proud tradition of showmen, Jordan is both a reminder of the past and a vision of things to come. And like the long line of innovative performers before him, he will push the game to its creative limits challenging future generations to go still further in the quest for the ultimate in basketball artistry.